Tony Peterson here for Top 5 Rock Lists, and today I'm going to be going over my top 5 favorite albums to listen to on headphones. And now kind of when I say on headphones, I don't mean kind of like out here with me working during the day, although that's pretty great. But I'm thinking, I'm not thinking of something that can make my feet move, not really a dance record, which is kind of nice out here while I'm out here working. But I'm thinking about, when you're sitting in your bedroom and you put on your headphones, you just lay down and you don't do anything but listen to this album. You're not surfing around on the internet, etc. So those are that's what I'm talking about when I say top 5 favorite albums to listen to with headphones. So without further ado, let's go to number 5. This is a lot of my albums in my top 5 are kind of orchestral type albums almost, but this one is more of a kind of a sound effects type album. Oh, here comes the wind. Kind of the sound effects make it interesting on headphones, and that's I think it came out in about 76, something like that. Steve Miller Band, Fly Like an Eagle album. That album, I was in junior high. I was in the 8th grade, and I used to go over with the guys, and at recess we'd go out and play basketball or whatever out on the playground. And then there was another group of kids that were kind of the stoner group, and they would go over on the side of the building. And this was 1977, so people weren't really like looking out for you when you were over doing stuff like that. And they'd go over on the side of the building, and this was a Catholic school. They'd sit over there and smoke pot and listen to 8-track, their little 8-track, portable 8-track player. And so, I'd go play basketball with the guys. And after a game or two, I'd go over with the stoners after they'd gotten stoned, because I really wasn't interested in the stoner part, but I was interested in hearing what their music was. And a lot of days they'd be listening to Fly Like an Eagle album, and it's kind of trippy. I can understand why they would listen to that. So that's my number 5. That's my number 5 on my top 5 favorite headphones only albums. Number 4, I know that a lot of people are probably going to be thinking that Pink Floyd's going to be way up on my list, I'm probably going to choose a different Pink Floyd album than what you're thinking I'm going to choose. But Pink Floyd is number 4 on my list, and the album is Animals. And I just, of course I like Dark Side of the Moon, and I think Dark Side of the Moon is a great headphones album, but maybe it's just a little bit worn out for me. I don't know. But the Animals album makes me think, and that's what I want. When I'm listening to an album on headphones, I want something that's going to make my mind work and give my imagination some room to play. And the Animals album definitely does that for me. Number 3 on my list is my all-time favorite band, the Beatles. The Abbey Road album, specifically side 2, with the big medley. That album, specifically side 2, is a great album for headphones, because it allows you to kind of listen to some of the studio tricks that they were doing back then, things that people weren't doing very much back then. It also, for me, it allows me to kind of isolate the players. I really like to listen to Ringo on that side too. And it's much easier to do with headphones. You can I feel like I can, what's who's playing the lead on this? Who's what's going on in the background? What tricks is George Martin using here? Is he they're what's in my left headphone? What's in my right headphone? It's mind bending if you listen to it like that. So that's my number 3 on my list. I don't know how good I'm doing as far as recording today, but I'm doing a good job cleaning these windows. I can tell you that. We're about midsummer here. This is nearing the end of June, and I'm just plugging along, and so here we are at number 2 on my list. I found that number 1 and number 2 on my list both have a lot of strings in them, especially this one. Number 2 on my list is they have the word orchestra in their name. So I do like the orchestral headphones type albums. The Electric Light Orchestra Out of the Blue album is my number 2 album. It's a double album, and I'm doing a lot of banging around here with this thing, aren't I? As far as pop rock albums go, I think the only albums that surpassed this album as a good pop rock album were maybe some of the Beatles albums in the middle there, maybe like Rubber Soul, or some of those in that right before Sgt. Pepper. It's just Out of the Blue is a masterpiece. It's definitely a top 15, if not top 10 album on my list of all time. And especially, what is it? What do they call it? They've got one side, I think it's side 3, that is a what does it say? What do they say? They announce it at the beginning of it. It's a concerto for a rainy day. That's what it is. Especially that rainy day concerto side is unbelievable. I believe Mr. Blue Sky is one of the songs on that rainy day concerto, and it's just, if you go just to that, put your headphones on, and wow, just as good of a rock pop album that there is. Now, number 1 on my list, I'm finding that these are all old albums. I don't know why, but maybe because this was back when I used to sit on my bed and just turn everything off and only look at the album cover, the album sleeve, and listen to the entire album. But number 1 on my list is Kansas Left Overture. Once again, very orchestral. Also, lyrically makes me think heavily. It's I believe that. I mean, it's a Christian, definitely God-based type music. It makes you. Some of their songs are about, The Wall is about golden diamonds cast a spell. They're not for me, I know it well. The riches that I seek are waiting on the other side. Strikes a chord with me. So that's it. That's my number 1 album. It's even got the big, at the end of some of the songs, they've got the big gong, the big circle, and then at the end of it they'll go boom and just let that thing go, as an emphasis to the end of their symphony. So that's it. That's my top 5 favorite headphones only albums. If I missed something, if you disagree or agree, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, as long as you do it politely. Please like and subscribe this video, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Over and out.